All right, so the Green New Deal is back, and it makes less sense than ever. Two of the most liberal members of Congress, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of New York and Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, they recently unveiled what they call a, quote, Green New Deal for public housing. But to be fair, neither AOC or Bernie Sanders are climate experts. And by the way, neither are Olympic athletes. But that did not stop Senate Democrats from inviting an Olympic skier to testify at a hearing about climate change, something it ends up that he doesn't know that much about. They tried to pass him off as an expert witness. Did not go well. In fact, it may be the biggest beatdown in Senate history. You decide. Take a look.
What is carbon dioxide?
I went to high school, but that's carbon dioxide is a gas.
Okay.
I'm not a professional to talk about carbon dioxide so much, but
Is it the major part of our atmosphere? Or?
it's a huge part of our atmosphere, yes.
It's actually a very small part of our atmosphere.
Well, okay.
If we spent those trillions of dollars and became carbon neutral by 2050 in the United States, which you advocate, how much will it reduce world temperatures?
I don't have an answer for that.
You don't know?
No.
You just think we ought to spend the money and then see what happens?
I think as an athlete, I think if we spend that money and invest in our future, hopefully those temperatures stop rising.
You think we ought to abolish the police, do you?
Again, not the topic I'm here to talk about today.
I know, but you tweeted it. Do you think we ought to abolish the police?
That's not what I'm here to talk about.
Should we do that before or after we get rid of fossil fuels?
I'm not going to address that.
Who intentionally created the war on drugs to put black people in jail? Who were you talking about?
I don't remember typing that.
You don't?
No.
I bet he wishes he's still on the slopes. Here with the reaction, Louisiana Senator John Kennedy is with us. Maybe my favorite moment was when he said he didn't know how much carbon was in the atmosphere, and you had to tell him 0.04%. Did they portray this guy as an expert?
Yes. Mr. Schumacher, I understand, is a superb skier, Sean, and I'm sure he's a fine young man. But the fact remains that my Democratic colleagues invited Mr. Schumacher to testify before the Budget Committee of the United States Senate as an expert on climate change to advise us on climate change legislation. And Mr. Schumacher could neither defend nor substantiate his rhetoric. I suppose his testimony is an example of the Kardashianing of America. I don't mean to be cruel, but Mr. Schumacher's testimony reminded me so much of the, how can I put this, the gormless pop singers and movie stars who partied with Harvey Weinstein, who incessantly lecture the American people, and who also have to lie down if they think too hard. And I'm sorry, Mr. Schumacher had a difficult day, but you shouldn't hold yourself out as an expert or have an opinion if you can't defend it.
You know, you're from the South, Louisiana, Senator. I'll just say, well, bless his heart. He tried. Here's the serious side of it. The amount of money that they are already spending, that Joe Biden is spending, that the Democrats are spending, and the restrictions they want to put on every American. They want to shove an EV into your driveway whether you want it or not. They want you to get rid of your gas stove. That'd be expensive. They want you to get new refrigerators, and they don't really like your air conditioners, nor do they like the fact that you eat meat. That'd be a problem for me, considering I'm very keto-friendly and eat a lot of protein and a lot of meat, Senator. That'd be a problem for a lot of people.
Well, I was reading a study this weekend, Sean, by a visiting professor at Stanford. And he says that the cost to make the world carbon neutral by 2050 and to sustain it until 2100 would be $27 trillion a year. That's about $2,000 trillion. That's not a plan. That's a fantasy. Because countries like China and Russia and Iran and sub-Saharan Africa, India, are going to expect the American people to pay for it. And we don't have the money. And I think President Biden is planning on having the American people pay for it. Even if we do our part, we can't depend upon China to do anything other than what is in its self-interest, or at least the self-interest of the Communist Party of China, and they will be happy to see us spend all of our money while they spend zero and weaken our country.
I don't think we could pay for his immigration plans, his radical climate plans. I think the country's in a lot of trouble in 224 days if that man got reelected. How are you feeling about the race? We have about 30 seconds.
If we discovered life on Mars tomorrow, Joe Biden would send it money, I can tell you. I think his only plan is to put a reverse mortgage on Alaska and keep spending. But it's not working.
Senator, you are a total gentleman today, and I felt bad for the young man. I think he probably wishes he stayed on the slopes, but we appreciate your time as always. Great job today. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.